So, let me set the scene. It was a random Tuesday night. I was tired, my brain was fried from work. And the last thing I wanted to do was put on a nice shirt and go out. But my friend, Mark, had been insistingly meet for weeks. Hello, if you haven't subscribed to our channel, please subscribe to the channel so that you can keep getting more new videos. Just dinner, he said. A catch-up. You know the kind of friend I'm talking about, right? The one who gets a little too involved in your love life. Even when you tell them you're perfectly happy being single. I figured he just wanted to complain about his job or something. I was so clueless. I get to the restaurant. It's a nice Italian place, dim lighting. The kind of place you bring a date, not your buddy. That should have been my first clue. But I brushed it off. I sit down at the table, and Mark is already there. Smiling like he knows something I don't. He's got that look in his eye. A mix of mischief and anticipation. So, he says, I have a surprise for you. My heart sinks a little. I hate surprises. I immediately think he's going to try and set me up with the waitress. Or worse, he's about to ask me for money. I invited someone else, he says. She'll be here any minute. And just like that, my casual Tuesday night dinner turned into a high-stakes blind date. I felt a wave of panic hit me. I wasn't prepared for this. I had just spent the last 6 months swiping left and right on dating apps. Going on a parade of first dates that went absolutely nowhere. You know how it is. You spend hours texting, building up a picture in your head of who this person is. And then you meet them, and it's like a deflated balloon. All the hype is just gone. I remember one date where the guy talked about his cryptocurrency portfolio for 2 hours straight. Another one where she brought her dog, which is great if you love dogs. But it sat in my lap and shed all over my black shirt. I was burned out. I had officially given up on the idea of meeting someone organically. So, a blind date set up by my best friend? This was the last thing I wanted. Then, she walked in. Her name was Sarah. And honestly, she was stunning. But not in that photoshopped, Instagram model way. It was different. She had this warm smile that felt real. She was wearing a simple dress. But she had this confident energy about her. Like she didn't need to try so hard. She apologized for being late. Her car had a flat tire. Most people would have just canceled. But she didn't. She showed up. That was the first thing that made me pay attention. The conversation started off shaky, just like any blind date. What do you do? Where did you grow up? The usual boring small talk. I was already mentally checking out, thinking about the draft I had to finish for work. But then, something shifted. We started talking about travel. I mentioned I wanted to go to Japan but was too scared to go alone. Instead of just nodding, she leaned in. Let's go, she said. I laughed, thinking she was joking. What? Let's go to Japan, she said, completely serious. My friend bailed on our trip last year, and I have a whole itinerary planned. If you're serious about wanting to go, we should just do it. Now, most people would say that's crazy. That's a massive red flag for a first date. But it wasn't. It wasn't about the trip. It was about the fact that she didn't wait for life to happen. She made things happen. She wasn't playing games, wondering if I was the right guy or if she was texting back too soon. She was just real. We didn't end up planning a trip to Japan that night. But we did end up talking for 3 hours. The restaurant staff started giving us the side eye because we were the last table there. The conversation flowed effortlessly. We talked about our fears, our dreams, our weirdest childhood memories. We talked about how we both felt like we were just going through the motions. That's the thing about blind dates. or any kind of setup, really. You go into it with all these walls up. You're trying to impress them, but really, you're just trying to protect yourself from getting hurt or looking stupid. But here's the twist I didn't see coming. As we were walking out of the restaurant, Mark came over to me. He was grinning like an idiot. "So," he whispered, "what do you think?" "She's great," I admitted. "Why didn't you tell me she was so cool?" He just laughed. "Because you wouldn't have shown up. And besides, she's not the surprise." I was confused. "What do you mean?" He patted me on the shoulder. "That blind date. That was for her. You were the blind date. I told her I was bringing a friend to meet her. I didn't tell her I was bringing you." My brain short-circuited. "Wait, what?" "I was the blind date. The whole time, I thought this was an ambush for me. That Mark was trying to fix me up. But in reality, the tables were turned. Mark wasn't trying to set me up. He was trying to set her up. Sarah was the one who didn't know who she was meeting. I was the setup. That moment changed everything for me. It changed the way I thought about first impressions. About chemistry, about that whole spark everyone talks about. Because before I knew the truth, I was analyzing everything. I was thinking, is she my type? Is this going anywhere? I was trying to control the outcome. But the moment I realized I was the one who was supposed to be impressing her, my perspective flipped. She didn't have to try to get me to like her. She was just being herself, because she didn't know she was on a date. I had been approaching dating all wrong. I was trying so hard to find the one, or figure out if the person I was with fit into this perfect little box I had built in my head. But here was this woman, Sarah, who wasn't trying to fit into any box. And she was the most captivating person I had met in years because she was being 100% genuine. She was sharing her stories not to impress me, but just to share them. She asked questions not to seem interested, but because she was genuinely curious. It made me realize that the pressure we put on first dates is ridiculous. We spend the whole time thinking about what the other person thinks of us. Do I have food in my teeth? Is my story too boring? Am I talking too much? We get so stuck in our heads that we forget to actually be present with the person sitting right in front of us. And then we wonder why we didn't click. We didn't click because we never actually met each other. We just met each other's representatives. The climax of this whole story isn't that we fell in love and got married. In fact, Sarah and I didn't end up dating. We went on a few more outings, but we realized we were better off as friends. We were good for each other, but not in a romantic way. And that was okay. Because that night gave me the biggest gift I could have gotten. It was a lesson in vulnerability. It made me realize that you can't strategize love. You can't swipe your way to a perfect relationship. You can't put a checklist together of traits and expect to find a soulmate. Real connection happens when two people drop their guard. It happens when you stop trying to be what the other person wants, and you just show up as you are. So, the next time you're about to go on a date, try it. Don't spend an hour picking out the perfect outfit. Don't rehearse your best stories in the mirror. Just go. Be there. Let the awkward silences happen. They're usually the moments where something real is about to be said. Because the only person you need to be is yourself. If they don't like that person, then it's not a match. It's that simple. And if you want to hear more about the crazy things that happen when you stop trying to control love, hit that next video that just popped up on your screen.